Buddha. There are a lot of important events of the life of the Buddha took place on Esala, and also a lot of historical events took place on Esala. If I remind you, one of the most important event of the life of the Buddha, I remember when he renounced, as Prince Siddhartha renounced the world on Asalapoya, that was a Mahabhinishkamaniya, took place on Asalapoya day. So he, having seen the three Signata, old person and sick person and dead person. This way he was thoughtful to search the spiritual happiness. He was aware, then he renounced his royal life palace. Then he became an ascetic. Siddhartha Gautama became an ascetic as Gautama, ascetic Gautama. That is one important event of the life of the Buddha. Then again, as you know, the most important thing is Buddha's first sermon. Buddha delivered his first sermon. The Buddhism, you know, it is not revealed religion. Revealed religion means some devas, they explain or they give guidance to a person, then the person is coordinated with divine beings and explain the Dhamma. But Buddha said he discovered in the discourse, Arya Pariyesana Sutta, Buddha clearly pointed out how he has discovered the Dhamma. As an ascetic, practicing meditation, living in the forest, doing austerities and meditation practices. This way, he had discovered the Dhamma by himself. This is a difference, Buddhism and other religions. Not a revealed religion, but a discovery of the Buddha. Then he delivered first sermon to 5 ascetic monks in Patanarama in Benares. Buddha was aware to whom he was supposed to give this sermon. Then he was thinking about Alar Kalama. He came to know Alar Kalama has passed away. Udagarama passed away. Then 5 ascetic months he knew as they were together. Siddhartha Gautama practiced self-mortification, what we call Atthakila Yoga, with these 5 ascetic monks. Then he understood if he was giving this sermon to 5 ascetic monks, they would be able to understand what he was teaching. Then he delivered the first sermon on Esala Dini, on this poet day. This is very important. The whole Buddha's teaching was summarized in the Dhammacakka Sutta. It's a great discourse in the Dhamma. The entire the world has been actually changed. People's attitude about Atma and about creation, all these things Buddha has changed by giving this Dhammacakka Sutta and giving confidence to people as human beings should be understood the Dharma by themselves, not the compassion, not the favor of other external divine power. By oneself, one has to develop good qualities. Humanity is a good opportunity. So that opportunity I have to employ to understand the Dhamma and practice great human qualities. That is the first sermon, Dhammacakka Sutta. According to the historical event of the Sasana, as you are aware, the first council, Sanghayana first council, took place on the day of Esala because monks observe rainy retreat. So in Pataliputra, Rajagaha, city of Rajagaha, Saptapani Guha, the 500 monks gathered, and Mahakasavatera presided the Sangha Council. Then the first council or Sanghayana took place. This is very important because the first time they identified the true Dhamma and they got organized to continue this Dhamma without any pollution. This is the way the first council took place on there. Another important thing is in Sasana history, the monks start the rainy retreat, Vasana period. On this Poya day, all the Theravada monks observe rainy retreat, Vasana period. Vasana period is a period for both parties, monks and laity as well. Both we can engage in religious activities. Monks, they observe rainy retreat, and during the 3 months, they are very much importantly engage in religious activities, especially meditation retreats. And also lay people also have an opportunity. During this Vasana period, they do a lot of meritorious deed and a lot of they listen to Dhamma and accumulate good karma. This way, Vasana period start on full moon day of Esala, etc. They say very important Poya day is Esala Poya has a great significance. Reflecting this significance of the Poya day, you have come to the Vihara, Buddha's statue, and Bodhi tree, and Savakas. This way, coming to a congenial atmosphere is here for practicing Sila and meditation and Dhamma. Reflecting the significance of this Poya day, we start this program administering 8 precepts. Uposatha Sila. Uposatha Sila means dayakas or the lay people take the vows, the 8 precepts. Usually in ordinary life, we take 5 precepts. Today you observe 8 precepts. These are called Uposatha. Uposatha Sila. Uposatha Sila means Ashtangika Sila. eightfold precepts. So they are great principles which are conducive to develop our spiritual qualities. So therefore we observe 8 precepts and do Vandana. Okay? With this beginning remarks, we start the prayer program right now. Do say sadhu, 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 and recite this formula. Ahang bante tisaranena sadding Attanga silang dhammang yachami Anuggahang katva silang detami bante Dutiyampi okasa ahang bante tisaranena sadding Attanga silang dhammang yachami Anuggahang katva silang deteme bante tate ampi okasa ahang bante tisaranena sadding Attanga silang dhammang yachami Anuggahang katva silang detame bante. Would you recite Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato ma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma. Would you repeat after me? Buddhang saranang gacchami Dhammang saranang gacchami Sanghang saranang gacchami Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami Tateyampi buddhang saranang gacchami Tateyampi dhammang saranang gacchami Tateyampi sanghang saranang gacchami Saranaгаmanang sampunnang Vānatipātā viramani sikkhapadan samadhiyāmi Adinādāna viramani sikkhapadan samadhiyāmi Abrahmacharya viramani sikkhapadan samadhiyāmi Musavada viramani sikkhapadan samadhiyāmi සුරාමේරය මජ්ජපමා දට්ඨානා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි විකාල භෝජනා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි නච්ච ගීත වාදිත විසුක දස්සන මාලා ගන්ධ විලේපන ධාරණ මණ්ඩන විභූෂණට්ඨානා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි උච්චාසයන මහාසයනා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි නිමානී උපෝසත අට්ඨාංග සීලානි සමාදියාමි නිමානී උපෝසත අට්ඨාංග සීලානි සමාදියාමි ඉමානී උපෝසත අට්ඨාංග සීලානි සමාදියාමි සියලු දෙනාටම අද දවස ඉතාම පින්වන්ත දවසක් වේවා අපේ ලොකු වාසනාවකට මේ වගේ පොය දවසක අපිට මේ ආගමික කටයුතු වල යෙදෙන්නට ලැබෙන එක තව තවත් අපේ ජීවිතය ආර්ථයෙන් ධර්මයෙන් දියුණු කර ගැනීමට හේතු වාසනා වෙනවා ඔබට ඉතාම හොඳ වාසනාවන්ත පින්වන්ත දවසක් උදා වේවා කියලා ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා. තෙරුවන් සරණයි.
Good morning. Now we are going to offer these offerings to the Buddha and pay respect to the Triple Gem in this important day. We all recite this stanza, the significance of the day as explained by Most Venerable Nayak Thera. Now you are all here with the utmost respect and reverence for the Triple Gem. Now we pay respect to the Buddha and we offer these offerings to the Buddha and pay respect to the Triple Gem. Let us recite this stanza. Vanna gandha gunopitang itang kusuma santating pujayami munindassa siripada saroruhe Pujimi buddhang kusumena nena punyena mitena ca hotu mokkhaṃ upphaṃ milayati yatha idam me kāyo tatha yati vināsa bhāvaṃ Pujimi Dhammam Kusumena Nena Punyena Mitena Ca Hotu Mokkhaṃ Upphaṃ Milayati Yatha Idam Me Kāyo Tatha Yati Vināsa Bhāvaṃ Pujimi Sangham Kusumena Nena Punyena Mitena Ca Hotu Mokkhaṃ පුප්පං මිලායාති යථායි ධම්මේ ආයෝ තථායාති විනාශ භාවං ගනසාරප්පදිත්තේන දීපේන තමදංසිනාම් තිලෝක දීපං සංබුද්ධං පූජයාමි තමුනුදං ගන්ධ සංභාරයුත්තේන දූපේනහං සුගන්ධිනා පූජයේ පූජනීයන්තං පූජාභාජන මුත්තමං සුගන්ධං සීතලං කප්පං පසන්න මధుරං පානීයමිතං භගවා පතිගන්හාතු මුත්තම අධිවාසීතුනෝ භන්ති ගිලාන පච්චයං ඉමං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පතිගන්හාතු මුත්තම ඉතිපිසෝ භගවා අරහං සම්මා සම්බුද්ධෝ විද්‍යාචරණ සම්පන්නෝ සුගතෝ ලෝකවිදු අනුත්තරෝ පුරිස ධම්මසාරති සත්තාදීව මනුස්සානං බුද්ධෝ භගවාති අරහං අරහෝති නාමේන අරහං පාපං නකාරයේ අරහත් ඵලං පත්තෝ අරහං නාමති නමෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්ධ ඥානේන සම්මා සම්බුද්ධ දේශනා සම්මා සම්බුද්ධ ලෝකස්මින් සම්මා සම්බුද්ධති නමෝ විද්‍යාචරණ සම්පන්නෝ තස්ස විද්‍යාපකාසිතා අතීතානාගතපන්නෝ විද්‍යාචරණති නමෝ සුගතෝ සුගතත්තානං සුගතෝ සුන්දරං පිච නිබ්බානං සුගතින් යන්ති සුගතෝ නාමති නමෝ ලෝකවිදුති නාමේන අතීතානාගති විදු සංඛාර සත්ථෝකාසේ ලෝකවිදු නාමති නමෝ අනුත්තරෝ ඥාන සීලේන යෝ ලෝකස්ස අනුත්තරෝ පූජලෝකස්මින් තං නමස්සාමි අනුත්තරෝ සාරති සාරති දේවා යෝ ලෝකස්ස සාරති සාරති පූජලෝකස්මින් තං නමස්සාමි සාරති Devayakha manasanang Loki agga palang dadantang damayantanang Purisa janyati namo Bhagavayutto Bhaggakilesavahato Bhaggang sansara muttaro Bhagavanamati namo Iti navagunayasa Sambuddhassa sirimato Namamitam mahavirang Sabbanyung dipaduttamang Swakato bhagavata dhammo Sanditthiko akaliko Ihi passiko ngopenaiko Paccattam viditabbo vinyuhiti Supatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Ujjupatipanno bhagavato savaka Nyaya patipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Samici patipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Yadidang cattari purisa yugani Attha purisa puggala Esa bhagavato savaka sangho Ahuneyo pahuneyo Dakhineyo anjali karaniyo Anuttarang punyakhetang lokasati sadhu sadhu sadhu. Now let us recite the Karaniya Metta Sutta, spreading your loving kindness to yourself and also all the others. We can recite the Metta Sutta. Karaniya matta kusalena yantang santang padang abhisamicca sakko ujuca sujuca suacho chassa mudvanati mani santassa kocha subharocha Appakiccocha salla ukavati Santindriyocha nipakocha Appagabbo kulesu ananugiddo Nachekuddham samachari kinchiyena vinyu pari upavadeyum Sukhino vakimino hontu Sabbi satta bhavanta sukhitatta Yeke pana bhutatti Tasavata varava anavasisa Igavayi mahantava Majjima rasakhanukhatula Ditthavayeva addittha Yecha dure vasanti avidure Bhutava sambhavi siva Sabbi satta bhavantu sukhitatta Naparo parang nikobbet Nati manyet katha chinang kanchi Vyarosana patiga sanya Nanya manyasa dukha michaya Mata yatha niyang puttang Ayusayika putta manurakhi Evampi sabba bhutesu manasang bhavaye aparimanang Mettanca sabba lokasming manasang bhavaye aparimanang Uddhang adocha tiriyanca asambadang avirang asapatang Tittang charang nisinova sayanova yavatassa vigata middo etang sating aditteya brahmamitang viharang idamaho dittinca anupagamma silava dasanena sampanno kamesu vinaya gedang nahi jatu gabba seyang punariti sadhu sadhu. Now we have meditation session conducted by Venerable Buddhadasa. Please get ready for the meditation.
Okay. Well, welcome. My name is Venerable Buddhadasa. I'm your resident meditation teacher. So I'm here to highlight the essence of what the Buddha's teachings is very much about. The importance of sila, which you've all taken this morning. Dana, the act of dana later, the act of giving. And the final part is meditation. So I'm here to talk about that for half an hour. Well, not only talk, we're going to practice, of course. So what is meditation? So normally a question I ask at the beginning of every class. And normally people just talk about all the things they hope to gain from meditation rather than actually what it is. But meditation is the focusing the mind on an object. In the meditation practice, we know that there is concentration meditation, and we also know there is insight meditation. For many people, they know a lot about the concentration, and they will normally engage with it to develop a sense of peace, sense of tranquility, blocking everything out. But the Buddha realized that didn't lead to liberation, and he promoted the practice of vipassana, the practice of waking up. Against that's essentially what the term Buddha means, awaken one. So the practice I will be working on with you today is familiar to many of you, the Anapanasati. That's kind of a bridge between the concentration practice and waking up to become aware of the senses, becoming aware of the mind, becoming aware of the body. Very much aligned with the Satipatthana Sutra that talks about using the breath and sitting and comprehending both sitting and breathing, using the body to develop concentration. And later on we'll also engage with sensations in the body as well, because arising as sensations very much makes us aware of mental states. So the Buddha very much within Vipassana promoted the practice of whether that's scanning the body or labeling it within the Burmese tradition to see what's going on with the mind and the body and its relationship. So at the beginning, actually, before I walked in, I heard you doing the Karaniya Sutra. I'm sure all of you are very familiar with its Pali, the chanting. But that plays an important part, but the real practice comes from looking at what it means. And that sutra, which I always cover in my meditation sessions, focuses not only on the development of compassion, but especially on the importance of mindfulness. The Buddha said whether you're sitting, lying down, walking, standing, he said, as long as one is awake, when one engages with whatever you're doing, whatever posture, using the breath, using the body, he said, one becomes awake when one uses one's mindfulness, and that's very much the heart of the practice, leading from concentration to mindfulness, to a sense of being present. There's a portal to enlightenment. Okay, so we'll get started with the practice. I'll just explain a few things. First, we'll do a body scan, very much connecting our body with our mind, becoming aware of sensations, becoming aware of your body and your mind having some object, which is the body itself, to connect to. Then we'll move on to the main meditation. We're going to start with the rising and falling of the chest. And to combine with that, we're going to do a particular mudra activity. So when we're focusing on the chest, as it rises, we'll first finger with the thumb. As it falls, second finger with the thumb. As it rises again, third finger with the thumb. As it falls, fourth finger with the thumb. So very much you're starting a relationship between the mind, the body, and keeping the mind focused on especially connecting with the breath, connecting with hand movements, the mudras, and connecting with a sense of presence and not within the past or the future. And then we'll go to the abdomen, the rising, falling of the abdomen, looking at the breath in terms of observing it to start with, then starting to notice it changing, starting to notice the gaps in the breath. Now for the mudra, for the meditation, you can do chin mudra, or you can put one palm on top of the right palm on top of the left palm, connecting the thumbs. And one of my favorite mudras is, and I haven't got a name for this, I just seem to connect my fingers like a little basket, and then I bring my first fingers up at the front and connect my thumbs. And within this mudra, you can actually sit for long periods of time, and when the body starts to relax, when the hands start to relax, it holds its position. So that's a little basket, first fingers up at the front, thumbs around the front, and that then you can observe your hands in that position. Now later on, when we've done some rising and falling of the abdomen and observations of the breath, I'll ask you to interlock your fingers totally. Okay, so this is a mudra that's going to connect you with feeling, because the Buddha says in terms of mindfulness of body, mindfulness of breath, mindfulness of sitting, mindfulness of sensations, a sense of presence, using all these objects to let go of the thinking mind, to let go of the past or the future. And at the end, we'll do a metta meditation. The mudra for that is putting the right hand on the heart, the left on top, focusing on the rising and falling of the chest, and then I'll end the session with a meditation on metta. Okay, so let's get started. So, adopt a sitting position of your choice. Make sure it's a secure position you're going to hold for the duration of the sitting session. Okay, I'd probably suggest to start with just put your hands on your knees with your palms up. Now we're going to start with connecting the body with the mind, with relaxation. So take your attention to the top of your head. Bring that attention down now to your forehead, relaxing the forehead. Come down to your nose, to your nostrils, to feel the sensations in the nostrils. Again, all being aware of what rises without judgment. To the top of the lip, to your cheeks, relaxing the cheeks, to your jaw, relax the jaw, lips together, tongue on the roof of the mouth, relax the jaw. Now to your front of your neck, move across to your right shoulder, relax the right shoulder, be connected to the right shoulder. Moving to the upper arm of the right arm, scanning the upper arm. To your elbow. To your forearm. Down to your wrist. To the palm of your right hand. Just become aware of any sensations on your palm, be that twitching or a breeze. Just be aware without judgment. Go to your right thumb. Become aware of the right thumb. To your first finger. To the next finger along, and to the next finger along, to your pinky finger, to all your fingers on that hand. Observe whatever arises, be that twitching or sensations. To the back of your hand where it connects with the knee, feel the pressure. Back to your wrist, up your forearm, to your elbow, to your upper arm, to your shoulder. Move over to the back of your neck, move across to the left shoulder, relax the shoulder, to the left upper arm, scan the arm, to the elbow, to the forearm, to the wrist, to the palm of the left hand, aware of any sensations. To the thumb, to your first finger, to your second finger, to your ring finger, and to your pinky, relaxing the hand. Come to the back of the hand where the pressure of the knee feels and touches the hand, to the wrist, to the forearm, to your elbow, your upper arm, to your shoulder. Move to the back of your neck. Become aware of your upper back. To your lower back. To your seated position where your backside meets your surface of your chair or the floor. Become very conscious of sitting. 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 Move to the right thigh. To the right knee. To your right calf. To your right ankle. To the front of your foot. To your toes. To the sole of your foot. Feel the connection between the earth and the foot, the pressure between the two surfaces. Be conscious. To your heel. To your ankle. To your calf. To your knee, to your thigh, to your right buttock, to your sitting center, aware of sitting, 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 to your left buttock, your left thigh, to your knee, to your calf, to your ankle, to the front of your foot, your toes, to the sole of your foot. Feel the pressure between the surface of the floor and your foot. To your heel, your ankle, to your calf, to your knee, to your thigh, to your buttock, to your seated position, your sitting center. Become aware, be mindful, conscious of sitting, 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 Come round to your abdomen, the rising and falling of the abdomen, the place we're going to rest the mind shortly, conscious of the breath. Come up to the heart center, to the front of the neck, to the chin, to the center of your forehead, between your eyes, and to the top of your head. Now come down to your heart center, connect your first finger with your thumb. Be aware as it rises, first finger. As it falls, connect the second finger. As it rises, third finger. As it falls, fourth finger. First finger, second finger, third finger, fourth finger. Be aware of the breath as it slows down. Release the fingers to keep your attention on the rising and falling of the chest. Now move that attention down to the abdomen. Connect your first finger with your thumb. Focus now on the rising and falling of the abdomen. As it rises, mentally note rising. As it falls, mentally note falling, stretching the word to fit the movement. As to help you, we can include numbers, so rising, falling 1, rising, falling 2, rising, falling 3. Go up to number 10 and then backwards to 1. So rising, falling and the number. You find it hard to follow the rising and falling, and you put your hands on your abdomen if you want. If you lose count, just go back to number 1. Become aware of the gaps in the breath. After the rising, we have a gap. As it falls, we have a gap. Let go of the numbers now. Rising, falling. Now after the falling, you can use the word sitting, if there's a gap after the falling. So we are rising, falling, sitting. mindful of the breath. If it's you experience a long rising, know you're experiencing a long rising or a short rising. Be aware without judgment as the breath changes. Rising, falling, sitting. Let go of any thoughts. Now, interlock your fingers. Keep focused on the rising and falling of the abdomen. So we have rising, we have falling, and we have sitting. After each rising and falling and sitting, take your attention, if there's no breath, to your fingers and any sensations, and you can label it feeling, feeling, but you must rejoin the breath as soon as it comes back. So we have rising, falling, sitting, feeling, feeling, rising, falling, sitting, feeling. Still have awareness of the breath if it starts to change. Release your hands, palms up on your knees, focusing still on the rising and falling of the abdomen. Take your attention to your chest, the rising and falling of your chest. Put your right palm on your heart center, put your left palm on top, connect your thumbs. Become aware of the rising, falling of the chest. Now we're going to develop the metta meditation. I want you to say to yourself with a sense of meaning, as a form of aspiration, may I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be free from mental suffering, may I be free from physical suffering, may I be free from anger, free from hatred, free from jealousy, free from greed. May I live happily. May I find wisdom. May I develop compassion. May I live happily. Bring your palms together in your heart center. Now wishing to send this compassion out to the world. Say to yourself with meaning, may all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May they be free from conflict, free from anger, free from hatred. May they find peace. May all beings find compassion. May all beings find wisdom. Now allow this sense of compassion and wisdom to radiate out of yourself to everybody in the room. To radiate out, to cover the world, to radiate out into the universe. Okay, release your hands to your knees, palms up, focusing on the breath in the chest. Sit for a moment with this sense of balance, wisdom and compassion. Be mindful that you're sitting. Be mindful that you're present. Okay, so I hope you was able to experience a sense of sitting and awareness developed attached to that particular place and time, awareness of compassion, awareness of being aware of the body, the breath, hopefully the sense of peace and tranquility that associates with concentration, but also opening the mind with a greater awareness that moves into the areas of vipassana, which if you attended my meditation classes, we would explore a lot more to become the importance of mindfulness and concentration and compassion. Okay, that's it. So now it's a tea break. Where there's tea, there's hope. That's it.
සිල් ගත්තේ නැති උදවිය ඉන්නව නම් එන්න. පහු වෙලා ආපු සිල් ගත්තේ නැති අය එන්න. අනිත් අය පොලිමට යන්න. Join the queue and have a cup of tea. Others can come and sit here to observe 8 precepts. Are there any more? Those who haven't observed 8 precepts? Aina say Namo Tassa, Namo Tassa, Bhagavato Arahato Sambuddhassa, Namo Tassa, Bhagavato Arahato Sambuddhassa, Namo Tassa, Bhagavato Arahato. Would you please repeat after me? Aham Bhante Tisaranena Saddhin Atanga Silang Dhammam Yachami Anugaham Katva Silang Detame Bhante Panatipata Veramani Buddhang Saranang Gacchami Dhammam Saranang Gacchami Sangham Saranang Gacchami Dutiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami Dutiyampi Dhammam Saranang Gacchami Dutiyampi Sangham Saranang Gacchami Tatiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami Tatiyampi Dhammam Saranang Gacchami Tatiyampi Sangham Saranang Gacchami Saranagamana Sampurnam Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapadan Samadhiyami Adinadana Veramani Sikkhapadan Samadhiyami Abrahmacharya Veramani Sikkhapadan Samadhiyami Musavada Veramani Sikkhapadan Samadhiyami Suramire Majjapama Dattana Veramani Sikkhapadan Samadhiyami Vikala Bhojana Veramani Sikkhapadan Samadhiyami Nacha Geetha Vadita Visuka Dasana Mala Gandha Vilepana Dharana Mandana Vibhusanathana Veramani Sikkhapadan Samadhiyami Uchasayana Mahasayana Veramani Sikkhapadan Samadhiyami Tisaranena Saddhin Imani Uposata Silani Samadhiyami Dutiyampi Tatiyampi Sadhu 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 Sadhu. Now, okay, and have the Gilampasa. Go and have Gilampasa.
चक्रवडङ्कितरत्न सुपादो लक्खनमण्डित आयत पानी चामर छत्र विभूषित पादो ऐसा ही तुई है पिता नारसिंहो सक्के कुमार वारो सुखुमालो लक्खन विथत पुण्य शरीरो लोकहिताय गातो नारवीरो ऐसा ही तुई है पिता नारसिंहो पुण्य सशंख निभो मुख वन्नो देव नारायण पियो नार नागो मत्त गजिंद विलासित गामी ऐसा ही तुई है पिता नारसिंहो क्षत्रिय संभाव अंग कुलीनो देव मनुष्य पमासित पादो शील समाधि प्रतिष्ठित चित्तो सहितुई है पिता नारसिंहो आयतयुक्त सुसंठित नासो गोपमुखो अभिनील सुनेतो इंद्रधनु अभिनील भामुको सहितुई है पिता नारसिंहो भट्ट सुमट्ठ सुसंठित गीवो सिंहलो निगराज शरीरो कंचन सुच्छ वियुत्थम वन्नो सहितुई है पिता नारसिंहो सीनित सुगंभीरा मंजु सुघोषो हिंदुलबंधु सुरत्त सुजीप हो विसति सेत सुदंतो सहितुई है पिता नारसिंहो अंजनवन्न सुनील सुकेशो कंचन पट्ट विशुद्धलालाटो ओषधि पंडुर शुद्ध सुन्नो सहितुई है पिता नारसिंहो गच्छति नीलपथे विय चन्दो तारगणा परिविण्ठितरूपो सावकमञ्जे गतो समुनिन्दो सहितुई है
Let us say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Yang kinchi dukkhang sambhoti sabbang sankhara paccaya sankharanang nirodhena natti dukkhassa sambhavo. Dear friends in the Dhamma, today we are celebrating the Esala full moon day. So you are very familiar with this day, the importance of the day as explained by the Most Venerable Nayak Dev. So we are going to explain about the significance of the day, but we are mostly focusing this sermon on the Dhammacakka Sutta, because many years I am giving this sermon in this hall, but I find still people are not enlightened. So I thought I will do it again for the benefit of yourself and also all the others. Then everyone can understand some of the teachings of the Buddha, and also you can recollect those important teachings of the Buddha. So that is the main idea. Today we gather to reflect on one of the most sacred moments in our Buddhist heritage. The moment when the Blessed One, the Buddha, delivered his first discourse, the Dhammacakka Sutta, in the deer park at Saranath. These teachings marks the beginning of the Buddha's mission to guide the world towards liberation. So that was the main idea of the Buddha. Buddha was not talking about science, but he wanted to make people to understand there is something we are facing in this very life. Get some kind of happiness. He has given us teachings. So this is the main cause. Then Buddha himself explained the importance of this teaching in the Dhammacakka Sutta. Most of you are familiar with it. Buddha said, Yava kivancha me bhikkhave imesu chatusu arya satchesu evam tiparivattang dvadasakarang yathabhutang jnanadassanang nasu visuddhang ahosi nevataham bhikkhave sadevake loke samarake sabrahmake satsamana brahmaniya pajaya sadeva manusaya anuttaran samma sambodhin abhisambuddho pachanyas. Buddha said, so long as the Buddha had not understood the Four Noble Truths in all their manifold detail, he did not claim that he had attained perfect enlightenment. But when he completely understood the Four Noble Truths, then he claimed that he had attained the supreme perfect enlightenment. So it says, unless we understand the Four Noble Truth itself, we cannot claim that we have attained enlightenment. That was the Buddha's words. So Buddha showed that the importance of understanding this Four Noble Truths. This shows us that the Four Noble Truths are not just another teaching. They are the very heart of enlightenment. To attain enlightenment, we have to have the Four Noble Truths, understanding of Four Noble Truth and Eightfold Path. So that was what Buddha wanted to say. So, we all know that Buddha is not a savior who asks us to depend on him. He was a teacher who asks us to understand. He said, in Pali we said, Yo dhammam pasati, so mam pasati, Yo mam pasati, so dhammam pasati. That means one who sees the Dhamma sees me, and one who would see me should see the Dhamma. So we have to have understanding of the Dhamma to see the Buddha. And also when we understand the Dhamma, we see the Buddha in that other way. So when we study the Dhamma, when we practice it, when we live it, we are truly in the presence of the Buddha. Because that is why you are all here come with the utmost respect to understand the teaching, to practice it. So when you look at this sermon, you find that there are two parts in this sermon. One is Buddha's first discourse had two main points. That is the first one is called doctrines of the Buddha. That is the Four Noble Truths. Then the practice, that is the Noble Eightfold Path. So there is a doctrine and also there is a practice. Both are there. But those goes together. These two are inseparable. The path is the fourth noble truth. And the first step of the path, right view, is understanding the Four Noble Truths. I think you have got it that meaning, because there are four truths explained. The fourth is the path, explain the Buddha's path. And also there you find the right view. That is the most important factor in this teaching. Let us enter the reflection slowly, mindfully, and with open hearts. We have to see that open heart lit. And the Buddha thought that suffering does not arise randomly. It has causes. It has conditions. It has roots in our own mind. At the stanza I have recited earlier, it explained beautifully, Yankinchi dukkhang sambhoti sabbang sankhara pacchaya sankharanang nirodhena natti dukkhasa sambhava. It takes, whenever suffering arises, it is all depend on volitional activities. When volitional activities cease, the arising of suffering cease. So whatever the sufferings we face in this very life, those are according to our, depending our all activities. So that is what Buddha, if someone can stop that activities, then the suffering will cease. This means that suffering is not imposed on us by fate, gods, or external forces. It arises from our own mental habits, from craving, clinging, ignorance, and mistaken beliefs in a permanent I. We are going to explain it further later. And because suffering arises from within, if it is suffering within, then it can be ended from within. Within ourselves, it can be ceased. This is a great hope of Buddhism, because we don't give somebody else to do any other things. We have to do ourselves. So that is why Buddhism is DIY, do it yourself religion. So that's why it has to be practiced. So if we understand the causes, we can remove them. If we remove the causes, suffering ends. So that is the simple way Buddha explained to us. In the Buddha's teaching, this Dhammacakka Sutta, Buddha started showing that there are two extremes. That is pleasure and pain. That is what we are doing every day. Before enlightenment, the Buddha explored two paths that many people still follow today, because Buddha followed those two paths. As a Prince Siddhartha, he had a lot of pleasure in his life. He enjoyed his life. Then afterwards, he thought that there is something is going on, I should do something for it. Then he left the palace and started doing some practices, giving pain to body. So he practiced both of them. So let us see what is the pleasure of sense, the pursuit of this pleasure. That's called Kama Sukhallikana Yoga. You are in familiar word for you all. This is a life of constant seeking. This is a life of constant seeking, seeking comfort, pleasure, excitement, entertainment, and stimulation. The Buddha described this extreme as beautifully. Buddha said, Hino gammo potujjaniko anariyo anatta sanghito. That means it is base, it is vulgar, worldly, and ignoble, and profitless. Because you can enjoy as much as possible the pleasure. But all those things you will find when you analyze whatever the pleasure you are enjoying. Pleasure is not wrong. Buddha didn't say that. Buddha want to say it is not a permanent thing, it is unstable. So that is what Buddha want to say. Because Buddha never object that people are enjoying their life, because the life has to enjoy. But we have to have understanding it is unstable. It fades. And also and when it fades, what will happen? We feel disappointed, restless, and empty. We chase again and again, never satisfied. That is the way of enjoying pleasure. Because when you want to eat nice food, you try restaurant and go to a restaurant and have that meal. But what will happen? If the food is rotten, then you have to suffer it, because it happens a lot of the restaurants. Then, and also next day you will find you want to go to another restaurant. And in that way, same way, because people are not satisfied with the things, whatever they have in this very life. They try to have more and more. That's why people collect a lot of money and money and money, thinking that it will give satisfaction. But it doesn't give any satisfaction. End of the day, when we become 70, 80, then what we can do with our money? We can't do anything. Even you got diabetic, you got a blood pressure and things, you can't eat and you suffer. So it is pressure is something Buddha didn't say that you should do those, but he said that those are temporary things. That's it gives complete satisfaction, but you have to enjoy. So Buddha said that this is the nature of craving, because why we have that pleasure, enjoying, idea of enjoying everything, because it is a craving we have. So we have that craving, but it is it doesn't give, it doesn't promise anything. It promises happiness, but delivers very temporary relief only. Pleasurable things give some kind of excitement and also satisfaction, but those things, temporary relief we get from those things. So then the Buddha goes on saying that Attakila Matanu Yoga, the path of self-torture. So this is the life of punishment. This is the life of punishment body, denying all comfort, believing that pain will purify us. The Buddha said, this way is painful, ignoble, and profitless. Dukkho anariyo anatta sanghito. That's what Buddha said. So that's what, because some people, you know that Indian society those days, they try to attain enlightenment giving so much pain to body. Still there are people who are giving so much pain to body, because behaving like animals, and also the behaving different rituals they practice, living as a dog or living as a cow, or that way they live. And also they are growing their hairs and also nails and standing, sitting for many, many years. So giving that so much pain to body, they try to eradicate their craving, but it is only, Buddha said, it is painful because Buddha practiced it. You know that when he was practicing, once he was fainted, then they thought that Buddha died. Ascetic Siddhartha died. But he understood that no use of doing all these pain and things. It is we have to go live and do something. So that is why he left that idea. So he does not, it doesn't lead to wisdom, it only leads to exhaustion. Both extremes keep us trapped. So that is what happened. Both are forms of intoxication. One intoxicated by pleasure, the other intoxicated by pain. So that is what happened to him, because the people behave in that way. Then the Buddha said, middle path of balance and clarity. So that is the most important thing. Balanced life, he explained. Rejecting both extremes, Buddha discovered the Majjhima Patipada, middle way, the path of balance, clarity, and deep peace within it. Then to practice that, he has given that teaching. So I will go through the Eightfold Path just to remind you what are those things, but I'm not going to say in details. So middle way leads to peace, understanding of the Four Noble Truths, and Nibbana. That is the advantage of practicing middle way. So it gives that understanding. This middle way is the Noble Eightfold Path, practical guide for transforming our lives. So, first one called the right understanding. That's the Samma Ditti. Seeking reality clearly. Understanding one is impermanence, because we don't realize those things, and also the non-self factor, and also the dependent origination. Understanding of those things, what we call the Samma Ditti. And next one is the Samma Sankappa, thought of kindness. That is called the right thought. Right thoughts are the thoughts of kindness, renunciation, and homelessness. So, right speech, you all know words that are truthful, gentle, and beneficial. Those things are under the Samma Vacha. Samma Kammanta, what you have to do. Right action, action rooted in compassion and non-harm. And the Samma Ajiva called the right livelihood, earning a living without harming others. The right effort, that's been Samma Vayama, cultivating wholesome states and abandoning unwholesome ones. So all of our life, that is what we are trying to practice. That is what we are going to do. Then right mindfulness, that's being present with the body, feeling, mind, and phenomena. That is what we will, you all know what are the Satipatthana Sutta explain, 4 mindful factors. That is the Kayanupassana, Vedananupassana, Chittanupassana, and Dhammacakka. Practicing in that way called the right mindfulness. Be mindful in that, Samma Sati. Then the right concentration, steady, peaceful attention that lead to insight. So through practicing of the Samma Sati, one can have a right concentration that it leads to understanding of the 3 characteristics of this world. So that is the way we can get the wisdom, and also that is the way we can get the freedom. So then Buddha explained in this sermon 4 noble truths, foundation of the Dhamma. So you are all aware of these things, but I am only just reminding you again and again. Right after enlightenment, the Buddha proclaimed the Four Noble Truths, the foundation of all Buddhist teachings. First one was the Dukkha Arya Satya, the truth of dukkha. Life contains suffering, physical pain, emotional pain and disappointment, loss, and the instability of all things. So we can discuss those things further. There is a dukkha in this very life. But we don't understand, because dukkha always we see it is a happiness. We are doing things with difficulties, thinking that it will give some kind of happiness. So the people are engaged in that. Always that's what happens. Because dukkha is hidden. We don't recognize it. But there is everywhere, every day you find the dukkha or unhappiness. Then the Buddha explained the second noble truth as the dukkha samudaya arya satya, craving. What is the dukkha samudaya? Is craving. Cause of dukkha is craving, attachment and ignorance. We cling to pleasure, cling to views, cling to idea of I and mine. So that is the way we get this dukkha, because it is our craving. Then the Buddha explained the dukkha nirodhara satya. That is the end of dukkha. There is a cure. There is a cure. There is a medicine for that. That is nibbana. The complete peace that comes when craving ends. Whenever we remove all our cravings, that will give some kind of happiness. That is what Buddha want to explain. Because the Buddha is like a doctor who prescribes things. Because the Buddha, the doctors, some doctors, they prescribe whenever you enter the surgery. But real doctors, what they do, they analyze. They see the patients, they find out is there anything, X-ray or whatever things they have to do it. They do it. And also then afterward they decide there is something disease here. Then he get the chance to give some kind of medication. So same way Buddha, so that there is a dukkha in this very life, because he has seen old man, sick man and dead body and things, he finds there is something in it. Because why we are going around being born and these things happen? Then the Buddha saw that there is a craving within us, this craving or attachment and this idea of I, those things make us to be bound to this world. And there is something, if we can stop that one, then definitely we can stop all the others suffering. So that is what we call the Nibbana, annihilation of all craving, what we call the Nibbana. Then the Buddha laid down the path. This is the medication, you have to take it to get rid of your all suffering. So that was the Buddha's teaching in that. So Buddha explained those dukkha. Then the Buddha was talking about the dukkha, further understanding dukkha deeply. If say the word dukkha is often translated as suffering, but it means much more. It includes a lot of things, like the ordinary dukkha. You all know that what the Dhammacakka Sutta said. Jatipi dukkha, jarapi dukkha, vyadipi dukkha, maranampi dukkha, apye sampayogo dukkho, pye vipayogo dukkho, yam pichang nalabati tampi dukkha. In this way, Buddha explain all those dukkha. But we have to, we can summarize. What is the ordinary way of dukkha? That is the dukkha, we call the pain. While sitting on the floor, you will get your pain in your knees and things. It is very difficult to sit for a long time. So that is also another pain. And also the sadness comes due to losing someone, and also some other things. Also fear comes, grief. All these things are ordinary way of suffering. That is called dukkha. Then there is another dukkha called impermanence, viparinama dukkha. Everything changed. That due to that everything changed, we don't realize that is the nature of it. Then even happiness also change in that way. When we cling to what changes, we suffer. Because whenever we think we have our families, we have our properties and things, and whenever those things change, that is also another suffering. That is viparinama, dukkha, due to change of impermanence we get. When someone dies, we cry because we like them. They are our friend or they are our loved ones. We cry for it. But when we realize that this is the way our life is impermanence, that it has to change, then the suffering or sadness will go away. So viparinama dukkha is there. Another thing is sankhara dukkha, conditioned existence. Conditioned existence. That is everything depends on cause and conditions. And nothing stands alone. Nothing is permanent, to understand that. The Buddha listed 8 kinds of dukkhas. We have mentioned it earlier. These teachings are not meant to discourage us. So that is the thing is, they are meant to wake us up. Wake up our understanding. That is what Buddha wants to show that. Then the Buddha thought that what we call I is not a fixed, permanent being. It is a combination of 5 changing parts. That Sankittena Panchupadanakkhandha dukkha, that is what Buddha said. There are 5 aggregates, those are also suffering. So that is what we call the I means. A person means that there are combination of nama and rupa. That means the body, feeling, perception, mental formation and consciousness. All these things good together, we call the person. The 5 aggregates are always changing. The people they are always changing. Because although we cannot understand at the moment, but it is always changing. When we cling to that, we suffer. When we see them clearly, we let go and your mind become peace. You will find peace in your mind. So, another thing is we have to understand about the sansara. Sansara means being born again and again. Sansara is often described as the circle of rebirth, birth and rebirth. But more importantly, it is a process we create moment by moment. Every time we are making our sansara, we create worlds in our mind. The worlds of worry, the worlds of anger, all those things we make ourselves. World of desire, the worlds of fear. And when we live inside them, we are reborn psychologically many times in a single day. That is what world is within us, not from outside. The world is within us because we make the world. We make the happiness, we make the unhappiness, and all those things we make, that is what we call every time it is happening. So that's what Buddha wants to show, that these things happen according to some kind of pattern. Why we are being born again and again, and there's a circle of it. So that explained in the dependent origination, or we call the paticca samuppada, how suffering continues. It doesn't explain about the rebirth of something, but how suffering continues, Buddha explained in his teaching. The Buddha explained 12 links that keep samsara turning, beginning with the ignorance and also ending with old age and death. The Buddha described life as a conditioned process. When this exists, that comes to be. When this ceases, that ceases. That the 12 links show how suffering arises and how it can be stopped. So that is understanding is Patisampada is very important. Although when you look at the Dhammacakka Sutta, you find you can read it within 20 minutes, that sutta. But Buddha was giving this sermon for all night for those monks. But it was a lengthy sermon, but this was summarized for us. So that is included a lot of teachings of the Buddha inside. So that is how we have to elaborate that what are the other things. So Paticca Samuppada also in the teachings, Buddha explained to the monks. So see, avijja means ignorance. You are all familiar with. It is the beginning of the chain is not the first cause, but the present absence of wisdom. Ignorance means not seeing the Four Noble Truths, not seeing impermanence, not seeing non-self. Because we do not understand the reality, the mind moves blindly. So avijja is there because we don't understand the all those factors, impermanence or a non-self factor or change in nature, all these things we don't understand it. So we have the ignorance. Then the avijja pacha sankhara. Then the avijja, due to ignorance, then the condition comes. That is the sankhara. Sankhara means volitional formations. Because due to that, we do different type of things. There are the intentional impulses that shapes karma, mental habits, reactions, tendencies, and choices. Sankhara is the engine that keeps the wheel running. So our engine has to run, so we have something in it. From ignorance, we act with craving, aversion, and delusion, planting karmic seeds. Due to our ignorance, we do different type of things, so that those things become like a seed for to continue our life. So that is called the sankhara. Sankhara, due to sankhara, it comes the vijnana. Vijnana is a consciousness. Sankhara pacha vijnana, consciousness. Not thinking, but the basic awareness of the six sense bases. Eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, mind consciousness. All these things are there. Karmic formation give rise to a stream of consciousness that seek a new footing, new place to go that it gives up. Then what will happen? Vijnana pacha nama rupam, vijnana conditions nama rupa. That's the nama. Nama means feeling, perception, intention, contact, attention. Rupa is a physical form. Together they create the appearance of a person. So Nama Rupa is built in that way. This is not a true self, only a temporary assembly of the five aggregates. We are all made of those aggregates. Those are the things what we have, because nothing else we find. There is nothing permanent, no my hair, my beauty or anything. All things are impermanent things made up with different. That is why we are different. Different way we have combined, we have different DNAs. Same way we have made up those things and we become in that way. So Rama Rupa is made for that. It is a temporary assembly of five aggregates, but we think it is a permanent thing. In our back of mind, we are permanent. Then comes to Namarupacha Salayatanam. Now we have the body and also those aggregates. Then that will become the six sense bases arise, because as we have those organs, once mind and matter are present, the six sense bases arise, because then ear, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind arise. These are the gateway through which the world is experienced. So through that, we experience the world. Then salayatana pacha paso. That means due to those six sense bases, we have the contact. all those things gives us a contact. We see some people, and also we can hear things, and those things will happen. So according to that, we are also produce some kind of thought, because the contact is the meeting three things: sense base, the sense objects, and the corresponding consciousness. All these three things got together, that we call these things touch, and impressions arise. Because it is like whenever we see a person whom we like, then we have the happy feelings. But whenever we see a bad person or angry person or whom you don't like, then your mind changes to it. In that way, the anger arises. The same way, food also the same, the other things also same. Whatever we experience in the day-to-day life, that we have that kind of feelings. So that is called the salayatana. Salayatana give the phassa, that's salayatana pacha passu, that's contact. Contact is the meeting three things, as I said, and also the passa pacha vedana. Vedana is feelings comes. Feeling is none of the experience. That is the feeling is those experience. Pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral feelings comes, because due to contact we have that feelings come. It can be pleasant, it can be unpleasant, and also it can be neutral. It is crucial things, because if mindfulness is absent, feeling becomes the fuel for craving. That's what will happen. Vedana pacha tanha. Tanha comes, craving is thirst. Craving for sense pleasure, craving for becoming, craving for non-becoming. We chase pleasant feelings and resist unpleasant one. This is the second noble truth. Craving causes suffering. So that is what Buddha said, kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha. That these cravings. Tanha, condition upadana, that is the most important part in it. Because we all have tanha, because we have the craving for these things. But the craving hardened into grasping, clinging to sensuality, views, rituals, and especially the idea of me. Upadana is the glue that binds us to samsara and even to a new womb. That is what will happen. So clinging is the most important thing, because as human beings we have some kind of craving. But when we have the upadana, that clinging to it, that is which we most dangerous things for us. Because when we cling to it, so it produces some kind of glue to be into this samsara, because that is the clinging. So then upadana paccaya bhava, when we have that clinging idea, it gives the idea of becoming, because we want to continue it, becoming continuous. Becoming is the momentum of existence, karmic energy forming a new mode of life. It is the active process of constructing identity and future experience. Bhava drives the continuation of the circle. Because if we have that clinging, then we are going to be again and again in this samsara. So that is the bhava paccaya jati. Then the bhava comes, then also the jati comes. Birth is not only physical birth, it is also birth of identity, the arising of I am. But physical birth inevitably follows when the chain is unbroken. If we don't eradicate our clinging or attachment, and that this chain is not broken, it will continue it. So jati paccaya jara maranam soka parideva dukkha domana supayasa sambhavanti. In that way explain, due to jati, then we get due to our birth, we get the old age and also sickness and death, and all those factors we have to experience due to that. So that, because I want to explain this a little bit further, but there's a time limit, so I am not going to say details on it because you are also familiar with this. With the birth comes those things. Because the Buddha wanted us to see that the chain is not a theory of the past. It is happening now, moment by moment, every time it is happening. Break the chain at feeling or craving or clinging or ignorance or wisdom, wherever it is. If we can break it, that circle is there. We can't find any beginning, but Buddha explained the ignorance from the, if we can break somewhere, then all these things can be broken. So clinging or craving, stop the craving or stop the clinging or stop the ignorance, whatever the way, then we can. This is why mindfulness, feeling, insight into impermanence and understanding non-self are so central to liberation. So that is what the important thing. Because if we want to attain enlightenment, we need some kind of understanding of those things. So, how to break this circle, Buddha explained, to end the suffering, understand dukkha completely. We have to understand it. Then the abundant craving and attachment. And also then you realize the Nibbana. And also you know that there is something called the annihilation of craving, Nibbana. Then practice the Eightfold Path. That is how we can break this circle. The Buddha said, Tummehi kiccanga tappang akkhataro tathagata. You have to do yourself. Only Buddha can show the way. The Tathagata can only show the way. You must work it in yourself. So, Buddha's teachings, Buddha's teaching, look at the Buddhism is talking about peace, living in peace. Morality, concentration and wisdom are the path. But the heart of Buddhism is peace. Only we want to have a complete happiness, not the material way of happiness, any other way of happiness. It is a peace within, peace beyond happiness and unhappiness. That is what Buddha wants to show us. So, we practice by seeing the body as it is truly is, seeing the mind as truly is, letting go of clinging, living with clarity and compassion, working the path, middle way of remedy. This is the way to freedom. That is what Buddha said. So in this teaching, that's very important things to understand the three characteristics of the world. One of the most profound insight the Buddha offered to the world, the understanding of three characteristics of the world. Tilakkhana. These three truths describe the nature of everything in our lives. Our bodies, our thoughts, our relationships, our possessions, and even our very sense of I explain in that. Buddha thought these characteristics not frighten to us, but to free us. When we see the world clearly, it is true. As it true is, the heart becomes peaceful, craving weakens, and wisdom begins to shine. So that is the important thing. Then the Buddha, what are those things? I will go a little bit of these teachings because otherwise it will not complete this sermon. These three characteristics are anicca, that means impermanence, dukkha, unsatisfactoriness, or anatta is non-self. Let us reflect one of those things, this anicca. Anicca is impermanence. Dear friends, the Buddha thought that everything that arises will pass away. Nothing in this world remains the same even for 2 moments. Our bodies change, our thoughts change, our emotions change, the people around us change, and the world itself changing. Think of your own life. Compared to your life, the child becomes an adult, joy becomes sorrow, health becomes illness, a moment of anger disappears like cloud. Even the breath you take now is not the same as the breath you took a moment ago. Everything changed. You are getting new one. Impermanence is not a punishment. It is simply the nature of our life. When we understand this circle, this deeply, we stop clinging to things as if they will last forever. When we learn to appreciate each moment without fear. The Buddha said, Sabbe sankhara anicca, all conditioned things are impermanence. When we accept this truth, we begin to live with greater peace and less disappointment. The next one is dukkha, unsatisfactoriness. Dukkha does not mean life is always painful. Sometimes people think Buddhism is talking about the dukkha, but it means that anything is clinging to it. Clinging to is unreliable. Even pleasant experience cannot stay. Whatever the pleasant experience you are having, it doesn't stay as it is. It changes. Even success cannot stay. Even the people we love cannot stay forever. So there are three forms of dukkha comes. We have explained already. Ordinary suffering comes, suffering of change comes, all pervasive sufferings comes, all these things comes. So we suffer not because life is cruel, but because we expect impermanence from what is. We expect permanence from what is impermanence. That means we always see anicca nicca. We know that it's changing, but we take as nicca or permanent. When we accept perfection from what is imperfect, that is called dukkhe sukham always. So Buddha said, Sabbe sankhara dukkha. All conditioned things are unsatisfactory. Understanding this truth helps us to loosen the grip of the world and find peace in acceptance. So next one is called the anatta, non-self. Let us see what is anatta say. The third characteristic is the deepest and most liberating, anatta, non-self. The Buddha taught that there is no permanent, unchanging I inside us. What we call me is actually a collection of 5 constant changing processes. That is body, feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness. None of those things, you analyze it, none of our body or feeling, perception or anything, none of those things stay the same. Those things are not under control or even can be claimed as mine. So Buddha said, we say, my body, but my body changes without our permission. We say my mind, but thoughts arise and disappear on their own way. We say my emotions, but they come and go like waves. When you look at closely, we find only flow of changing event, not a solid self behind them. The Buddha said, Sabbe Sankha, Sabbe Dhamma Anatta, all Dhammas are not self. This insight frees us from having burden of I, me and mine. It opens the door to compassion, humility, and deep peace. How these 3 characteristics work together. These 3 truths are not separate. They support each other. Because things are impermanent, they cannot give lasting satisfaction. Because they cannot satisfy, they cannot be considered a permanent self. This is the wisdom that leads to liberation. Bringing these 3 characteristics into daily life, we say, these teachings are not meant only for monks and nuns or scholars. They are meant for all of us. We can practice them every day. When a pleasant moment arises, so this is a lesson for you to practice. When a pleasant moment arises, enjoy it gently, knowing it will pass. When a painful moment arises, endure it patiently, knowing it will pass. When anger or pride arises, remember, this is not me, this is just a passing condition. When we feel overwhelmed, breathe and observe everything is changing. Little by little, the heart becomes lighter, craving weakens, wisdom grows. That was the Buddha's teaching. So, let us remember anicca, dukkha, and anatta, impermanence, teaching us to let go. Dukkha, unsatisfactory suffering, teaches us not to cling. Anatta, not self, teaches us to see clearly. When we understand these three characteristics, we walk in the footsteps of the Buddha. We begin to taste the peace of Nibbana when in this very life. May we all cultivate this wisdom. May we all walk the path with mindfulness and compassion. May we all find freedom in seeing things as they truly are. Let us walk in ourselves. Let us practice the Dhamma with sincerity. Let us free our hearts and help others free theirs. At the end of the sermon, the text says, there arose the Venerable Kondanya, the dustless, stainless eye of the truth. Whatever is subject to arising is subject to cessation. Kondanya realized the simple but profound truth. Everything that is born must change and die. This insight opened the door to enlightenment. These Four Noble Truths are not ancient philosophy. They are the living guide for our daily lives. Every moment we recognize suffering, we practice the first truth. Every moment we see craving, we practice the second. Every moment we let go, we taste the third. Every moment we cultivate the path, we walk the fourth factor of enlightenment. Fourth factor of this Four Noble Truths. The Buddha's teaching is practical, compassionate, and liberating. It's a path of gradual training, gradual progress, and gradual attainment. May we walk the middle way with courage. So that is the sermon. So you don't have to learn many things, but at least practice Four Noble Truths and Eightfold Path. The Buddha has shown us the theory has given and also the path has given. So if we practice clearly on that path, we can attain enlightenment. We all attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana one day. Okay. Now we are getting ready for the Buddha Puja. Ask question later. Okay. Time is limited.
Thank you.
I can take that. Doctor, I'll take that.
හොඳයි. කියන්නේ ඉතිපිසෝ භගවා අරහං සම්මා සම්බුද්ධෝ විද්‍යාචරණ සම්පන්නෝ සුගතෝ ලෝකවිදු අනුත්තරෝ පුරිස ධම්මසාරති සත්තා දේව අනුස්සානං බුද්ධෝ භගවාති ඉතිපිසෝ භගවා අරහං සම්මා සම්බුද්ධෝ විද්‍යාචරණ සම්පන්නෝ සුගතෝ ලෝකවිදු අනුත්තරෝ පුරිස ධම්මසාරති සත්තා දේව අනුස්සානං බුද්ධෝ භගවාති ඉතිපිසෝ භගවති සම්මා සම්බුද්ධෝ විද්‍යාචරණ සම්පන්නෝ සුගතෝ ලෝකවිදු අනුත්තරෝ පුරිස ධම්මසාරති සත්තා දේව අනුස්සානං බුද්ධෝ භගවාති. People of Devi Balika, they can come here in front and sit down for a minute, please.
So as a program, our yesterday program being sponsored by the Balika Past People Association. They provide the dana, most important for the success of the Esala project. We don't want to bother about anything, about everything. They look after our diapers. There are many diapers have observed 8 precepts today, and very kindly Devi Balika Past People Association, even last year also they have sponsored, and for many years one of the Devi Balika's senior student, Daika, Rukmani look after the Daikas. After that, last 2-3 years, Devi Balika Vidyalaya Past People Association take responsibility to look after the people, Daikas and monks as well. Dana has been prepared. This Dani, they want to remember their founders of the Devi Balika Vidyalaya, and also recently passed away a teacher, Mary Jala, and also all those who have passed away, the members of the staff, and also founders of the Devi Balika. They want to show their gratitude and also transfer merits to them. This is the purpose of offering dana today. පසුගිය කාලවල දිගටම දේවි බාලිකා විද්‍යාලය විශාල උපකාරයක් කරා මේ ඇසළ පොය දවසේ මේ වැඩසටහනට මේ දානය සැපයීමෙන් ඒ අය ඉතාම ලොකු උපකාරයක් සිද්ධ වුණා අපිට මේ ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එක හොඳට කරගන්න. අපි ආශිර්වාද කරනවා මේ දේවි බාලිකාවන්ට ත්‍රිවිධ රත්නයේ ආශිර්වාදයෙන් තවදවත් විද්‍යාපත් සමාජ සේවාවක් කරන්නට ඔබ සැමගේ සංවිධානයට ත්‍රිවිධ රත්නයේ ආශිර්වාදය ලැබේවා කියලා අපි අනුමෝදනාව අපි දෙවනුව කරනවා. අපි සියලු දෙනාම එකතු වෙලා මේ බුද්ධ පූජා මේ පින්කම පවත්වමු. මේක ලොකු ප්‍රිවිලේජ් එකක්. තථාගත සම්මා සම්බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේ ජීවමානයි කියන අදහස හිතේ ඇති කරගෙන බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේටම අප විසින් පිළියෙල කර ගන්නා ලද මේ දාන වස්තුවේ අග්‍ර කොටාසේ අපගේ දැහැට්ටුවෙන් පිළියෙල කරපු මේ සුද්ධ වූ දාන වස්තුව තථාගත සම්මා සම්බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේට පූජා කරනවා. පූජා වේවා. ඉතින් සියලු දෙනාම අපි විනාඩියකට පංචශීලයේ ගන්න නමෝ තස්ස කියන්නකෝ. Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddham saranam gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchami, Dutiyampi Sangham saranam gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddham saranam gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchami, Tatiyampi Sangham saranam gacchami. අටසිල් සමාදන් වෙච්ච දපින්නතුන්ගේ පන්සිල් කියවන්න එපා ගන්න එපා. පානාති පාතා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි. අතින්නාදාන වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි. කාමේසු මිච්ඡාචාරා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි. මුසාවාදා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි. සුරාමේරය මජ්ජපමා දත්තානා වේරමණී සික්ඛාපදං සමාදියාමි.
Today this Esala Celebration program hospitals of Devi Balika and also their family members with friends organized this Dana ceremony, offering Dana to the Sangha and also all the Upasakas and Upasikas. Now you have prepared Dana with utmost respect. You are going to offer the first portion of your preparation to the Buddha, recollecting the noble qualities of the Buddha. Then it is a noble practice. So we are all celebrating one of the most important day in our Buddhist calendar. So while respecting the Buddha's teaching, so we do this meritorious deed. You are all understand what is the good deeds and what are the results of the karma and its reaction. With good understanding, you have beautifully prepared this Dana ceremony. Now, let us offer these offerings to the Buddha, reciting all these stanzas, thinking that may these offerings go to the Buddha. May the merits accrued by these offerings be with your departed ones, and also any other relatives who passed away from you all those departed ones receive your good thought. May they enjoy these merits, may they be well and happy wherever they are now. And also may you all share these merits, may you all be well, happy and peaceful, may you have peaceful and successful life here and hereafter. Give these merits, may we all attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. With these thoughts, let us recite these stanzas. Vannagandha Gunopitam Hitam Kusumasantasi Pujayami Muindasa Sinipada Sarvurve Pujayami Uttam Kusumena Nina Punyena Mitena Hotu Mokkam Bupan Nilaya Tiyatai Dhammi Tayo Tataya Srivinasa Bhavam Ganasarapparitena Dipena Dhammadanssina Tilokadipan Sambuddham Pujayami Tamonudam Gandha Samhara Yuttena Dupena Sugandhina Pujaye Pujayantam Puja Bhajanamuttamam Sugandham Sitaram Appam Prasanna Madhuram Subham Paniyamitam Bhagava Patiganmatum Uttama Adivasetu no Bhante Bhojanam Parikappitam Anukampam Upadaya Patiganmatum Uttama Adivasetu no Bhante Sabbam Saddhaya Pujitam Anukampam Upadaya Patiganmatum Uttama Vandami Chetiyam Sabbam Sappatani Supatittitam Saririka Dhatu Mahabodhim Buddha Rupam Sakalam Sada Kayena Vacha Chittena Pamadena Maya Katam Achyayam Kamami Bhante Bhuri Panya Tathagata Imina Punya Kamena Mami Kala Samagamo Satam Samagamo Hotu Yava Nibbana Bhaktiya. Again, you are going to offer the rest of the preparation to the Sangha. Offering the dana to the Sangha is not private giving. You are going to offer this dana to the entire community of monks. At the time of the Buddha, there are a lot of saints and arahants. Until today, there are monks and there will be monks in the future. Recollecting the noble qualities of those Sangha, you are going to offer this dana. So, past peoples of Devi Balika, they are very much connected with London Buddhist Vihara for many years. They attend our religious activities and also they support the London Vihara activities in different ways. And today they have in this Esala Celebration, always they produce dana. It was started by Mrs. Uki Vijay Singh. Now the school is doing it. That is a good thing because it is collective offering. It become collective offering now. So office bearers and also the members and also the family members, they are all here to perform this dance ceremony. We would like to give blessings for all of you to have a successful and peaceful life in this existence. Now, let us offer this Dana to the Sangha, reciting our Pali stanzas, thinking that may these offerings go to the entire community of monks. May the merits accrued by these offerings be with your departed ones and also the principals of college, the other teachers and all the others departed ones. They receive this good thought, may they enjoy these merits. And also may you, anybody who passed away from your families, may those departed ones receive your good thought, may they enjoy these merits, may they be well and happy. And may deities receive your good thought, may they protect you all. May you all share these merits, whoever taking part in this religious service today. May you all share these merits, may you all be well, happy and peaceful. May you have peaceful and successful life here and hereafter, including your departed one. May we all attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. With this thought, please recite this stanza to offer this Dana to this Sangha. Imam Bhikkhaṃ Saparikaram Bhikkhu Sanghaspadema. Imam Bhikkhaṃ Bhikkhu Sanghaspadema. Imam Bhikkhaṃ Buddha Pamukassa Sakalassa Bhikkhu Sanghaspadema. Bhakti Tantriyam Pipameva Samijatu Sabbe Purendu Chitta Sankappa Chando Panyarasiyata Ayurarogya Sampatti Sagga Sampatti Vijayato Nibbana Sampatti Iminati Samijatu Shantinayaka Tilo Guru Buddhyanan Mahansi Uddhisa Suddha Buddha Puja Pavatva Anuturudani Sanghi Kuta Puja Kirimin Laban Lada Kusal Dharmayan Hetu Kutagina Metan Pratan Nimandakna Jati Dakwa Narkadi Satara Payo Pati Dukhe Gatana Pamina Devini Sapakelavar Buddhadi Mahottamyan Nimi Sanasi Paminavadal Sant Sundar Nirvan Sampatti Saksat Karganimat Namin Me Parlogiadrani Nyati Natru Abasam Dinataman Meeting it Viva Vasana Viva Pratanavan Istariva Sita Sadar Sitin Yuktava Ping Anumodan Vietu. Now our dieters who are observing 8 precepts, they can go slowly to the main hall for Dana. And our volunteers who are supplying Dana, please they can arrange it. No rush, go slowly.